more companies have come forward requiring workers to get the COVID-19 vaccine. What kind of legal rights, though, do workers have if, let's say, your employer adopts this policy?
Yeah, so we had two major medical companies come in the last week and say, basically, you've got to get, vaccinated or you can't come back to work. So joining us now is Jessica Post, who's a lawyer at Fennemore Craig. Hi, Jessica. It's so nice to talk with you. And you specialize in a lot of these areas. So we're not talking specifically about any company here. But overall, if my boss says to me right now, Troy, we like you working here at Fox 10. No, they're not saying this, by the way. We like you working here at Fox 10, but you need to get vaccinated or you can no longer work here. What are my legal rights at that point?
Basically, your legal rights are if you have a medical condition that wouldn't allow you to be vaccinated, or if you had a religious reason for not being vaccinated. Those are two exceptions for any mandatory COVID-19 policy at an employer's place of work.
So take us through the process if you can. What's the first thing you should do when you come into this situation with your employer?
Well, I mean, so right now there's nothing federally. Federally, what I just talked about was the Americans with Disabilities Act, and then also Title VII's religious accommodation provision. At a state level here in Arizona, we sort of have some rules that have come to schools, but there was a bill there was a bill proposed that would affect employers in the private setting, but it didn't pass. And so as of right now, there's no legislation prohibiting employers from requiring employees to get vaccinated. And this may change at the public level versus the private level, but you're talking right now mostly about the private level.
Right. So, yeah, we're not talking about a government agency that works on a different set of rules. Okay, so you just said if I said that it's against my religion, basically, I wouldn't have to get this. What kind of proof do I have to have? Or can I just walk up to my boss and say, yeah, it's kind of against my religion to do this?
Right.
Well, so generally you have to have a sincerely held religious belief, and employers aren't really required to or allowed to ask a lot into that. I'm sure that if you wrote down in a statement that you had this belief and that you couldn't get the vaccine because of your religious belief, then that would probably suffice. They might not ask for more than that. But if you did do that, then you're going to be asking for a reasonable accommodation, and it's going to depend on whether the setting can provide that. So you might find yourself not being able to be accommodated, or you may be able to be accommodated and you might be continuing to wear masks and have other COVID-19 sort of testing protocols.
And then you mentioned the other exemption would be like a medical situation. So what type of proof would you need in that case?
So under the Americans with Disabilities Act, if an employee asks for reasonable accommodation, the employer is allowed to ask for medical information that the employee has a disability or a medical condition that would prohibit them from being able to get a vaccine. And so the employer could ask for that, and the employee would provide a doctor's note or a form completed showing that this employee needs a reasonable accommodation and can't be vaccinated.
So employers, major companies, and I've been around major companies long enough to know that, and so have you obviously, that they do equations in their head, right? I know if I require my employees to get vaccinated, I'm probably going to face some lawsuits. But if I don't require my employees to get vaccinated and somebody comes back and gets sick, I might get some lawsuits there. Aren't they kind of looking at what would be the cheapest way or the way that would cause them the least headaches? Why would you say all vaccinated, or why would you say you don't have to get vaccinated? What goes into that decision?
I mean, I think it is the cost-benefit sort of analysis that you were just talking about. I think as we've been going through this longer and the vaccines have been safe longer, and I think that you're going to have the FDA is going to approve the vaccine, and so that'll take one argument away from people. And so I think that as people and companies have gotten more comfortable, we may see more of the mandating than we did initially. And partly because as they are looking at the risks and the costs, and like in the healthcare setting, for example, like if a patient calls and says, hey, I'd like to see so-and-so, and I want my person that's going to be treating me to be vaccinated, that's happening. And so employers are accommodating those requests. And I think it's becoming more of an expectation in the health setting. And that's why we've seen some healthcare programs make that decision. The first one was that, I think it's Houston Methodist, and they're the ones who put in that first mandated COVID-19 vaccine, and that was one that was challenged but upheld in Texas.
And speaking of other states, how does Arizona compare with other states? Because Arizona being a right-to-work state, and maybe other states such as California, or how do we compare here?
Well, I mean, we've had some some executive orders that have been passed that are, again, they're more at the student side. And so we'll see what happens in the employment side. I know that that's obviously a point of interest since there was a bill proposed on this that would have prohibited employers from requiring vaccination or even employers from asking for proof of vaccination status. So it's really I would say it's also so evolving, and it's really what we've been dealing with for this past year. But you ultimately, for each state, you have to look at what are your executive orders, what are your legislation, and then if there's nothing, then you're under that medical exemption and religious exemption that we talked about.
When does somebody need to call you?
Today.
When do I need to call you, Jessica, for help?
Well, I'll tell you, I think the hard ones are when an employee does come forward and they say, well, hey, I can't get the vaccine. And now you're going down an accommodation situation and sort of figuring out what's going to work in that environment, because you're trying to destigmatize people, right? We don't want them to stand out. But then on the other hand, the employer's made a decision to have the vaccine for a reason. And so I think that's where, I mean, if you're going to have a policy and you're going to mandate vaccines or even highly recommended, or I think it's those inquiries that come in that are the most challenging for employers when an employee isn't comfortable getting it and it's required. And then you're kind of working through that situation to see what's going to work, what's reasonable, how are we going to move forward now.
Are you guys back at work there at Fennemore Craig? Are you back in?
Yeah, we're sort of mixed. We actually now do have a remote work policy just because so many employees wanted to keep working at home. Yeah, so actually I'm in Flagstaff right now, not in Phoenix, which you might see from my bare wall here. We're still decorating. But we've never really shut down. So like for me, when I've had depositions or mediations, I've still gone in. But we are going to have a more flexible policy going forward just to accommodate people who have decided that they really do like spending at least a couple or a few days at home each week.
There are a lot of companies who've decided that. And you get to enjoy Flagstaff. You get to enjoy the cooler weather in the summer.
Look at you.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Hey, thank you so much. If people want to reach out to you, exactly how do they do it?
jpost at fennemorelaw.com. It's easy. I'm on the internet, and they can call me or they can email me.
Awesome. Thank you for your insight. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Enjoy Flagstaff.